let's talk about Invincible Season 3, Episode 8, the finale. We'll give our thoughts and a score, and then go into spoilers after we give a spoiler warning. And I'll go ahead and give my score first on this one, since you did Severance first.
Okay.
So for the finale, I'm not going to have much to say. I think I'm also going to give this one a 10 out of 10. This was just peak Invincible. Amazing episode. I think it was the best animation of the entire show. Non-stop, amazing. I could not believe that anything could even come close to the end of season 1, but oh man, this is right there with it. 10 out of 10. That's all I'll say before spoilers.
Quick, easy.
Yep.
I'm going to give this one, I was honestly, if you want me to be honest, I was actually contemplating between a 9.5 and 10, but I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 with the caveat of it still does not come close for me as the finale of season 1.
Okay.
The fight between him and his dad. I still think that's peak 100%. But there's a big but. This is close. I mean, it's you hit it on the nail. The animation was fantastic.
Yep.
The action was obviously great. The story was good, or not just good, but great in the sense of like I was actually nervous at some points for certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I think it's a 10 out of 10. I think it's just about peak. I still think season 1 better.
Sure.
But that being said, like this is right up there with it. So yeah, 10 out of 10.
Yep, that's so funny that we have two finales and we gave them both 10 out of 10.
I know, we've been blowing these 10 out of 10s everywhere, man. Jesus Christ.
It's not our fault. We're making good shows.
I know it's not. It's not. No.
All right.
Cool.
Well, let's get into spoilers because I want to talk about this episode. So, spoiler alert for Invincible Season 3, Episode 8.
So like I'm looking on IMDb, and I mean people have this rated a 9.9.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm looking at the finale of season 8, it's a 9.7. For me, there's still no way it's higher than the season 1 finale, personally. I think the season 1 finale was way more personal. I think way more emotional. Still good action. Now there's things that I think this season finale improved. I think that you're right. The animation looked great.
Yeah,
it really did.
Amazing.
And it was nonstop action. What's this? The Viltrumite?
Conquest.
Conquest was obviously brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, would you rank it higher than the season 1 finale?
I don't know. I'm like right now I would put them side by side. Like I agree with you. It's not as like personal and emotional. The season 1 finale absolutely was, like it being Mark and his dad and just like all that comes with that. I definitely think that the animation in this is like so good, so much better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The fight was like brutal for different reasons. I think they're both great. I would put them like right next to each other, which I didn't think I would say about another episode. I thought season 1 ending would be the best of the best. Nothing could touch it, but I was very happily surprised.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything. I'll still put season 1 finale on the pedestal. Maybe it's because it was the first, it was the first big episode.
Yeah.
Maybe it just has the advantage of that plus the emotion behind it. But I agree. I actually do the animation with this I was pleasantly surprised.
Also, the crazy thing is, like, this happened right after the Invincible War. Like, back-to-back great episodes.
Thank God they didn't undo that. My God. Thank God they didn't.
Yeah.
At least yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Because I think that's what elevated this episode a little bit more for me, too, is I was so worried they were going to, I don't know, like, retcon something or do something. Nope. They freaking go right into it, man.
Yep.
And you're right. It's pretty nonstop. It's pretty brutal. I really like Eve, man. I think
she was great in this episode.
It's so fun to watch her fight because it's so different.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a freaking anime or something.
It does, yeah. And they faked me out. I thought she was dead. I was like, oh man, no way.
I did too.
But I wasn't bothered by the death fake out because it makes sense. Like it unlocked her powers and let her,
I think
rebuild.
They played into that too in that Eve episode, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That standalone episode, where they put a lock on. I think she mentioned something, if I remember correctly, in that. You know what I'm talking about? That 2.5 season, whatever.
Yep.
Where they mentioned where she's locked out of her full potential or something like that.
Yeah, and that makes sense. How her dying would unlock that.
Yeah. But I forgot about that though.
Yeah,
so I truly thought she was dead too. I'm not mad about the cop out either, because that kind of makes sense, and they explained it in a different episode. I'm not bothered by that. Normally I would be bothered on something like that, but this one doesn't count.
Yeah.
But man, when I saw her all beat up and brutal, I'm like, Jesus Christ, if I was Mark, I would be going psycho too, man.
Yeah.
I would. I'm not lying. I would probably go just as psycho. So I probably would have gone more farther. Well, hey, I don't know. He went pretty far. He was freaking hitting his head against his skull.
That was brutal. Yes.
I mean, you just turn into an animal at that point.
And man, I thought Conquest was great. The look of him is intimidating. And then I love that thing they threw in where after he was like sure he won, he just started like spilling his guts about how he's venting, alone. Like he's figured out a way to like cope with this of being so alone by just, you can tell he's done this to every planet. He finds like the strongest person, beats him up, and then just like talks about how alone he is just to let it out.
Take it to your grave.
And it shows what Viltrum does to these people. This empire that's supposed to be coming and making these planets better, but really their people are all just so alone and messed up, because we've seen it with Nolan, but now we see it with another character.
Yep, Conquest even farther. I mean, like he literally said he doesn't even get a name.
Yep, just a duty.
But I liked the cockiness of it, and I liked when his brother, what's his brother's name again?
Oliver was great.
When he was great in it, and I kind of liked the little buddy team up, and then when Conquest was kind of going to tear him apart, I'm like, are they actually going to do that? Yeah. I was wondering for a split second if that was what's going to put Mark over the edge.
Yeah, it seemed like it. That was also brutal. I'm going to say that word a lot, but man, like him stretching and it cracking and I was like, oh, are they going to do it? I
was convinced. So I will say this fight definitely had intensity to it, like the season 1 fight. So it's not that it had nothing, because it definitely still did have intensity.
Right. It's just, I mean, we just met this character last episode. It's not Mark's dad. Like that's what really makes season 1 so great.
Exactly. I think the season 1 finale and the character itself is just so iconic, right? Like a kind of like Superman going bad. Mm-hmm. You know, he has his father, whole build up, the emotion behind it. I think it's just the situation, the story, just the iconicness of it that makes it higher for me, even though this episode's right there. Sometimes I like a good villain like Conquest. I don't need that emotional kind of fight every single time. Well, I mean, this one was emotional, but you know what I mean? Connection between Mark and a villain. Sometimes I just want a character like Conquest to come and wreak havoc like just a monster.
Yeah, and they do it good.
Yeah, and I guess he did spill his guts for a split second, so he did get a little bit of character development.
He did.
Like you said, it was brutal.
Yeah, that's one I'm going to rewatch just for the animation. That fight was so good.
The animation was so good. And like I said, the fight scenes they gave Eve this season was so good. Every single one she was in, I loved all the fight scenes she was in.
I agree. And this one where she was like unlocked, it was so good. Seeing them team up against a really big bad guy, that was fun.
Yeah, I really liked what they did with Eve and Mark this season. I do think their relationship went a little fast, but I think they even acknowledged it in one of the episodes that they need to slow down.
And like they've known each other for a long time, so it kind of makes sense. But I also do like the slow down, because they were going to move in and then decided not move in together or something and decided to slow down. Yep.
But I like that she's still her strong self, but she could be there for Mark and be that, girlfriend for him. She's not always like the cocky, I'm better than you. Like she has that soft, sensitive side with Mark.
And she's a good person to bounce ideas off of and feelings off of, because she understands.
Yes. And because a lot of times when there's a character like Eve where she's kind of like cool, right? Like I'm a girl boss, I'm awesome in a good way. But then she gets with someone, they kind of turn like the girl or even the guy into just like that's their personalities being that relationship. And they kept Eve her strong-headed self, which I'm really glad they did, because I really like how they made her a very good character, because I love how she's still strong and she still is there for Mark. I thought she was great.
One thing, there's a couple things I want to talk about with like Rex's funeral, but one thing I liked was Eve was really sad about it. And there's some shows where it would be like, oh, Mark's feeling jealous because she has these feelings for Rex, but they didn't do that at all. Like it was just, it was very mature. Yeah, they had a relationship. They were close. Yeah.
That was her first love. And like I think she said,
yep.
Yeah, they didn't do no like looking back at Mark and he's jealous or this or that. You're right. He was just held her and was there for her. I agree. They didn't do some unnecessary drama.
Right. It definitely wasn't the place, and I'm glad they just didn't do it at all. One thing about the funeral, the weirdest thing about this episode is, what do you think of Rudy taking Rex's name?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's just him, kind of paying homage to someone he loved. And it'll be weird in the next season if people actually start calling him Rex, because I'm be confused. Call him like Rex 2.0 or something.
I think it's a weird way to honor someone, to take their name after you've already taken their body. But I also think it fits with the character, because Rudy's a weird dude. So I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say it fits. I feel like it does fit his character.
Yeah. So it's weird, but he's weird. So yeah.
Yeah, like exactly. Like if it would have been like, someone like, I don't know what other character, I don't know, anyone else really, I would have been like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
But it still was weird, but you know what I mean.
Right.
But yeah, is there any? I mean, what scenes am I missing? I mean, it was pretty much one big fight.
At the end, they did set up a ton for the future, so I want to list some of these for what's going to happen next season. So we saw that it looks like they're making Reaniman out of all the different marks. That's interesting. Conquest is still alive, and they have him trapped in a bunker underground with bombs that definitely won't kill him if he gets out.
And I was so on what's his face's side.
Cecil, yeah.
Until I saw that, like, dude, come on now.
Yeah, not that. Like, oh yeah. Angstrom is now working for those people who are keeping him alive, and we saw him for a second, so don't know what they're planning, but Angstrom's going to show up again, I'm sure.
Yep.
And then we saw the Sequids underneath in the sewers with all the people they've taken over, so they got a lot. There's a lot for next season.
I was like, what the heck was up with that, man?
Not to mention Viltrum's still out there. Nolan and Alan are probably going to come back, which...
Yeah, they didn't show up. I was surprised.
We talked about that. We definitely thought they were going to show up and help Mark, but I kind of like that they didn't, and Mark had to do it on his own and found his own way. I think that worked out really well.
They must have not been able to pay for the 2 voice actors.
Maybe.
But I liked it too. It worked for the story. It should be Mark. I mean, Eve helped him out, and they focused a lot on their relationship, and I feel like that was fitting.
Yep, agreed.
They have plenty of time to flesh out the return of Mark's dad.
Yep. Oh, and also, we didn't see him this episode, but there's also like 8 Marks out there in some other alternate universe that are probably going to show up at some point too, so...
That's right, yeah.
And then Machine Head. There's so many people out there who are going to cause havoc coming up.
Yeah, and they still have those crime boss people, or the dragon-headed guy still alive, right? Or the old man that turns into the dragon still alive.
Yep. Battle Beast is floating out in space. Oh yeah, Aaron Paul's character.
Character is still out there. Powerplex. Yeah, you still have quite a bit of villains out there. So they set up overall, what's your overall thoughts on this season? And if you had to rank the seasons as a whole, how would you do it?
Oh, that's so tough. Well, definitely season 2 is my least favorite. It's been a long time since I need to rewatch season 1.
Yeah.
I think I probably gave higher scores overall to this season, but man, there's something about season 1. I'd probably have to go back and rewatch it to make sure. But I'll just say, maybe because of recency bias, but maybe this one over season 1. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I think 2 by far is the lowest. Like, I don't even think it's a question. I think it was all over the place. It was still good, but I think it was all over the place.
Yeah.
I still think season 1 is up there. I just think the story is very contained. It's very fresh. It's very focused. It's probably the biggest storyline I think it's one of the biggest storylines just in comics, in the sense of kind of, super. I think this is kind of what started the stories of, if I was reading correctly, Superman going dark. I just think it's such a focus.
It is.
A focus season, and it's just iconic.
Yeah, like Mark getting his powers and learning from his dad, and then that betrayal. Yeah. And there's so many good scenes, like Nolan killing the Guardians and then going to that other planet and distract. Like, I'm thinking about it. I really don't know which one I'd put higher. I'd probably have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I would have to rewatch it too to be certain, but I think, like, if I had to I think I gotta give season 1 the props. It started it all. It's iconic. It's emotional. It's tight. That being said, though, season 3 is right there. Like, I think season 1 and 3 are great, and I think season 2 is just good.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, this is renewed for season 4, so I think we'll be getting it quicker.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I know some people, and we have too, complained about the animation, but I was thinking about it, and I was even watching some YouTubers, and the average viewer really gonna notice this animation? Yeah, I don't know. In the sense of, it could be better. Obviously, we see a ton of different animation, but I think, like, for an average Joe viewer, I don't think they're gonna care.
Yeah, probably.
And I know this show doesn't have a big budget.
I kind of like
But
that
I
they
don't think it's
saved
terrible.
the budget and had this amazing blowout episode with the animation because it just looks so good.
Yeah, it did look good. And I don't want to say the animation looks terrible. It definitely looks bland compared to a lot of different animation.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's terrible. But like I said, I think I was reading that this show really doesn't have a big budget, which I guess you can tell with the animation.
Thanks, Amazon.
Yeah, and then they go and give friggin' Rings of Power like the biggest budget ever for a show.
Oh, yeah. Let's not get into a Rings of Power rant.
But sweet. Yeah, that's all I have on this. I can't wait. We ended two great shows, and Severance and both our Mark shows.
Yep, our Mark shows, 10 out of 10s.
Our Mark shows. They were great, man. So now we just have another M name with Matt.
Matt, yeah. All right.